Okay. Hello? Hello? Hi, guys. Good morning, everyone. The event is going to start in about 5 minutes. So if you could please start making your way to your seats, that'd be lovely. Thank you guys so much. Good morning again. I'd like to welcome everyone here. All right, hello everyone, and welcome to the 61st Annual Engineers Breakfast. Thank you so much for joining us here today in celebration of Homecoming Weekend. It's an honor and a privilege to welcome you back to beautiful Tucson and of course the incredible University of Arizona. My name is Gracie Spatz, and I am this year's President of Engineering Student Council. Whether you are one of the amazing faces I see in front of me today or joining us from YouTube, we are so glad to have you here. Homecoming is one of the most special weeks of the year. You as alumni created your own memories, experiences, and stories at the University of Arizona. This weekend you get to relive them and reflect on how Arizona shaped you as a whole. You get to revisit your favorite spots on campus, reconnect with the people that made the university a home, and re-experience your best and craziest memories. As you walk past Old Main and peer down the mall, you get to see how the university has grown, much like all of you have since you graduated. Homecoming is not only a time for remembrance, but also a time of celebration. Celebrating our Wildcat football team, celebrating all of your accomplishments, but most importantly, celebrating all of you returning home. As we reminisce on the past, live in the present, and imagine the future, it's important to remember everything our engineering alumni have given us. We are proud to continue your Wildcat legacy. Even though many of you have paved your own paths and explored many different careers, it's inspiring to see what all connects us, being a Wildcat. Once again, I thank you for joining us and welcome home. Now please join me in welcoming the Craig M. Burge Dean of the College of Engineering, Mr. David Hahn.
Thank you for your open remarks, Gracie. I will start today's event with the University of Arizona Land Acknowledgement. We respectfully acknowledge the University of Arizona is on the land and territories of indigenous peoples. Today, Arizona is home to 22 federally recognized tribes, with Tucson being home to the O'odham and the Yaqui. Committed to diversity and inclusion, the university strives to build sustainable relationships with sovereign Native nations and indigenous communities through education offerings, partnerships, and community service. Has anyone been in the student union and seen the new display of all of the tribes? It's beautiful, so go take a look at that. Well, welcome to our Wildcat engineers. And I want to thank everyone for coming. Our alumni, our friends, our faculty and staff, our students, and our volunteers that make this wonderful day possible. For our friends viewing online on YouTube, welcome from the campus. We have a team member online to help you to manage the chat, to keep you engaged through this morning. I'm really delighted to be here with you today at our 61st Annual Engineers Breakfast. Last year we celebrated our 60th anniversary of this cherished tradition. And since then we've experienced significant changes at the University of Arizona. You will meet one of those changes soon. This is a time of transition. The College of Engineering has not only persevered, but has thrived by embracing collaboration and embracing resilience. Together we continue to adapt and innovate, reinforcing our commitments to excellence in engineering. Our shared experiences and connections have always been the foundation of the Wildcat spirit. Let's celebrate those bonds and look forward to the future we're building together. Thank you for being a part of our homecoming weekend. It's now my pleasure to introduce J.P. Rosniak. J.P. has led the University of Arizona Foundation and driven the university's fundraising efforts as president and CEO since 2016. JP's 30-year career in higher education shows his dedication to his work and has made him a fantastic partner to this college. Welcome, JP.
David, thank you, and it's an absolute pleasure working with you, but more importantly, it's a pleasure being here with all of you, and I heard 61 years of engineering breakfast, and I bet Jack McDuff's been at every one of them. There he is. Jack, how are you? All right, it's good seeing you. So today's special, it's homecoming, and all of you have come back to this great institution. And the one thing I continue to hear when you meet with people, they talk about three things: how this institution has changed and grown. And you heard Grace, she said it perfectly. The other thing that we hear all the time is, I bet I could never get into this institution now. It's so tough to get into, and the students are so good, and it's amazing, and I hear that as well. But the other thing I hear is how this great university changed our lives, the difference it made, the opportunities it gave us. And that's what your philanthropy does. You're giving back to our students, our faculty, building these programs. You're giving those same opportunities to our students today and the students that are going to come here in the next 10, 20, 50 years. So we are so thankful for everything you do to make this institution great and the things that you're going to do moving it forward. We could not be the institution we are today without your support, your commitment, you giving us your time, your talent, and your treasure. And that's why I know the best days are ahead at the University of Arizona. And I just want to say thank you. Have a wonderful homecoming, and we look forward to seeing you around campus all weekend. Thank you very much, and have a great day.
Thank you, JP, for your remarks, and again, taking the time to join us. You have been a wonderful partner. I'm now excited to introduce to you our new University of Arizona President and Distinguished Professor in the Department of Mechanical and Aerospace Engineering, President Suresh Garamella. President Garamella previously served as the president of the University of Vermont, Vermont's land-grant university, where he more than doubled the university's research enterprise. Prior to the University of Vermont, President Garamella was Executive Vice President of Research and Partnerships and a distinguished professor at Purdue University. He's a highly cited scholar and researcher, a celebrated teacher and mentor, and we are thrilled that he has joined our Wildcat family. President Garamella, it's my pleasure to welcome you for a few remarks. Thank you, sir.
Thank you, David, and Gracie, great job introducing, starting off the program, and JP, thanks for all your effort. I noticed that there are colleges at the University of Arizona that have names on them, and I don't see a name here. So, hey, if you're going to have an engineer as president, we need to have a name for this college. So, let's work on that. But so it's just wonderful to see all this red and blue. Just great to see all of you come together. We used to have very large events like this at Purdue, another big football school. Well, not so big lately, but basketball school, how about that? So I'm just really thrilled to be here to welcome all of you, our Wildcat engineers. And I'm glad to kick off, my first homecoming here, being with a bunch of engineers, or engineering alumni, or engineering supporters. So it makes me feel particularly happy that this is where we're starting this important weekend. I am proud to be an engineer. I'm a faculty member in the college. I wear that badge proudly. And I'm just very pleased to have this opportunity to get to know all of you. So thank you for inviting me here. I certainly want to thank the college leadership, our faculty, our students, our staff. The ambassadors are always so full of energy, and they welcome me as they welcomed all of you outside and in this room. And they're the ones that make this college the proud place that it is. And so I thank you all for your warm welcome here, but throughout our 2 weeks here. Just about 2 weeks, people. That's how long we've been here. So I definitely believe that the future for engineering graduates is bright. The world needs engineers. The world needs a lot of things, but it definitely needs engineers here in Arizona and across the nation and across the world. And so there's a lot of demand for well-trained folks. I hope that we graduate more and more students and hopefully more of them stay in the state of Arizona and support this community. And so Dean Hahn has big plans for growth, and I fully support that. We will do all we can together to grow this college. It's done well. The research has grown, the enrollment has grown, obviously with support from the state, support from our corporate sponsors and partners, and from the federal government, and of course from all of you. And so these days higher education is challenged, and we have to band together to continue to support these kinds of efforts that we've got. David said you've been meeting for 61 years, so you've been meeting throughout my life. It's about as long as I've been around. So it is wonderful that you're all here. As JP said, that you support us with your time, with your excitement. A university is only what our alumni are saying it is, right? And so the farther away you're from your graduation, the more sort of weight you carry, people trust your word, and the future really is very bright. One reason I came here to this great university is it has such an amazing history and such great potential. And I think to bring that kind of potential to fruition, it will take a village, it'll take a state, it'll take a country, it'll take the globe. So I definitely appreciate what all of you have done. Our impact, the impact of the university and the College of Engineering is on our society and our communities and on our students. As our research grows, our students have greater potential, greater opportunities, and it makes them better students. And so please continue to do that, supporting that you've done so well. We appreciate that deeply. And again, everything I've seen at the university, each of our amazing research labs and educational experiences and such that we offer, make me even more sure that the future is bright, and nowhere is it brighter than here in the College of Engineering. So thank you all for your support. Thanks for being here. Let's go win that game today. Bear down.
Thank you, President Garamella. It's really exciting to welcome our newest president to the University of Arizona, and it's exciting to have a distinguished professor of engineering in Old Main. We look forward to the future. I assure you that the College of Engineering is committed to supporting the vision of you and this university 100%. So thank you. I'd like to take a few minutes now for some college updates, like I do every year. So we'll swing through a few of some updates. So first off, we've had transitions of the University of Arizona overall. We have a new president. We're working on a new vice president for research, ultimately a new provost. I'm proud to say in the College of Engineering, we just brought on our newest member, Associate Dean Kelly Potter, Academic Affairs, and that really completes our team. And if you look at this slide, it's a wonderful, diverse group of people that come together to help drive this college, and I'm very proud of them. I'd like to celebrate 3 faculty members in particular. The University of Arizona every year names Women of Impact. We have 3 in our college, Hee-Jong Kim, Kim Ogden, and Janet Ravita. I'm very proud of all of them, and let's give them a round of applause, because I appreciate their efforts. So I want to say a few quick words about the origins of this university and the land-grant mission. We had an opportunity a few weeks ago to host the staffers of our federal delegations, our congressmen and women and 2 senators. They came and spent a day on campus, and the theme of that vision was the land-grant mission. And I pulled a copy of the Morrill Act of 1862, and you can see that it basically states an act donating public lands to several states and territories which may provide colleges for the benefit of agriculture and the mechanical arts. Agriculture and engineering are the very, very roots of this institution. I have to say, President Garamella actually had Senator Morrill's desk when he was at the University of Vermont, which is amazing, and it's really something that I know is at your core of our mission, and it's exciting to do that. You know, when you look at the land-grant universities today, there were sort of two additional extensions. The extension of 1890, which formed the historically black colleges and universities across the United States, and then in 1994, an additional extension to bring in the indigenous colleges. So proudly, the state of Arizona is home to two, Dene College and the Tohono O'odham Community College, which are part of the land-grant mission, and of course, proudly, the University of Arizona. You know, I think if you go back to that core of the land-grant mission, engineering is at the very core of our university. I love that sketch of Old Main, the first rendering, and it is the School of Mines. That was the original rendering. They actually changed it to the School of Agriculture soon thereafter to tap federal funding, the importance of the federal funding to our universities. But, you know, look at Old Main in 1889 in the middle of a field. Look at it today, and Old Engineering, of course, was our first building, built in 1918. And if you really look at the university, the ag building on the other side and us flank Old Main as the roots of this university. I think it's nice to keep that in mind. So, you know, when I look at the College of Engineering, we do a lot of things. President Garamella just mentioned some of them. You know, we provide the workforce to fuel the economy. We tackle the grand challenges that are so important to society: food and water, energy, healthcare, security. We were chatting with Mike Hummel at the beginning of this about the challenges of renewable energies and meeting a growing demand for energy. We also discover and innovate. We drive the economy through technology. And we, in our land-grant mission, provide access to education. And when you put those together, really says that this college is important to this state and this university and this nation, and we are on the move to do that. Our two newest degree programs, which we're quite proud of: software engineering, bachelor's, master's, PhD degrees, and our newest is computer science and engineering, bachelor's, master's, and PhD degrees. You know, when you look at the state of Arizona, I grabbed that from the city of Chandler. The investment in infrastructure, IT, software is a strategic part of this state, and we are trying to fuel that demand. I pulled this just from the web a year ago: top drivers of the Arizona economy: ag and mining, biomedical and bioscience, manufacturing, aerospace and defense of the Arizona economy, renewable energy, information technology, and tourism and hospitality. We have a new transportation research center. We drive that as well. So this college is really aligned to serve the mission and serve this state. Just some of our demographics, which we're proud of. We're right about 50% of our students come from the state. The University of Arizona is a draw from across the region. We pull a lot of students from California, Colorado. We're about 27% female. That's better than the national average, a number I'm proud of, but we want to keep getting that number up. 20% first generation, that is the land-grant mission, and 5% international at the undergraduate level. So we have a great demographic mix of this college. We keep making sure that we're a college of inclusivity and expansion and access. We are succeeding in growth. You know, these are, 3-year averages before we started and last year, and you see we're up on our first-year student class by 35%, and we have truly doubled our research enterprise, 104% growth in that period of time. I thought it would take a little longer, but we're making really good progress, and that's everyone in this room. And I always say this: when we talk about research expenditures, deans, presidents, VPRs, that's an important number, but it's not the money, it's what we do with that money. We train students, we generate knowledge, we impact the world. So those expenditures reflect the impact we have as a college, and we're very proud of those. Commitment to student success. Engineering's first-year retention rate is the highest outside of health sciences. I'm really proud of that. Our 6-year graduation rate is 13 percentage points above the UA average. And we really focus on student success through our clubs, through our programs, through experiential learning. Our Engineering Access, Greater Equity, and Diversity program is growing and serving many students. Many of you help make that possible through your philanthropy. So we are really keep that guide of what we do, which is support our students. Just a little snapshot of some awards that have come in the first quarter of this year. But why I put this up is to just see the diversity. National Science Foundation, Department of Defense, Really proud of ADOT. You know, ADOT has not historically funded the universities. We came together, we brought the other two universities together to form an institute and went to the Arizona Department of Transportation and got a $6.5 million commitment. We intend to grow on that and win a federal center with CDC, NIH, and it's a great portfolio of really, again, making that world a better place. So I always end with that triangle of success. It's the university, it's the government, and that's the state and the federal government partnering with us, and it's industry. Many of our alums here serve industry around the southern Arizona and across the state of Arizona. It's that beautiful three-way relationship is the only way we can achieve our fullest potential. So I thank everyone for coming and supporting this college. That is the magic triangle for our future. So I want to say thank you for that. I do want to invite you to join us. I always do a virtual alumni town hall. We're going to do it on January 29th. I'll cover some of this and add on some more things. That's growing to a good community every year, and I always enjoy that opportunity to delve into our strategic plans, our goals, updates on leadership around the campus and in the college, and the journey that it's been. So I always enjoy hearing from you, and I look forward to that event in early next year. So now it's exciting to move on to one of the highlights of our program, a special moment to recognize the remarkable achievements of you, our alumni. For over 75 years, the University of Arizona and the College of Engineering have honored accomplished alumni and friends with a variety of awards recognizing outstanding achievements and the exemplary service to the state, to the region, to the University of Arizona. This morning, we're pleased to honor the 2024 College of Engineering alumni honorees. To assist in the celebration, our department heads will be joining me in presenting our awards as we work through the program. We begin with our Outstanding Young Alumni Volunteer Award, which is given to an alumni who has demonstrated continued interest and loyalty to the University of Arizona for a minimum of 2 years following graduation and who has been out of school less than 10. Consideration is given to alums who have taken the initiative to serve effectively on behalf of the University of Arizona and who have responded to requests for service from this university. Our recipient of the 2024 Outstanding Young Alumni Volunteer Award is Sierra Rose. Sierra Rose graduated from the University of Arizona in 2019 with a BS degree in mechanical engineering and a minor in aerospace engineering. After graduation, she joined Northrop Grumman Space Systems as an aeronautical engineer. She works as a design, integration, and test engineer for the Intercontinental Ballistic Missile Program. In addition to her professional accomplishments, Sierra has worked with the U of A College of Engineering Senior Capstone Program since she began her career at Northrop, and during her undergraduate studies, her senior capstone project was also sponsored by Northrop Grumman. Sierra has mentored 5 projects and continues to show her dedication in advocating for the development of future Wildcat engineers. Along with her mentorship, she has participated as a judge for the Engineering Design Day for the last 3 years. Throughout the school year, she guides students through the engineering design process and strives to develop their confidence as young engineers, preparing them for their introduction to industry, government, or service. We are pleased to honor Sierra Rose with the 2024 Outstanding Young Alumni Award. Sierra could not join us today in person, but please direct your attention to the screen. We have a message from Sierra.
Hello, fellow Wildcats. I'm so honored to be nominated for the 2024 Outstanding Young Alumni Volunteer Award. I'm so sorry I can't be there in person to accept this award, but please celebrate for me while I'm out supporting our Mission Pathfinder for our ICBM program. For the last 5 years, I have been mentoring the senior capstone team for Northrop Grumman. This is a crazy adventure for me because directly out of college, you're not ready to be an engineer, let alone a mentor. But there's so much insight to give when you've just been in their shoes and now you are in the industry. I'm so grateful for a job that allows me to give back to the university and continue to be a resource to young engineers. I hope to continue to guide students through the design process and build up their confidence along the way. Thank you so much for this opportunity, and bear down.
Congratulations to Sierra. Established in 1986, the Bear Down Award is given to an individual who has performed noteworthy or meritorious service on behalf of the University of Arizona. I am pleased to recognize Nitin Patel as the 2024 recipient of the Bear Down Award. Nitin holds BS and MS degrees in mechanical engineering. I see a trend here. He earned his BS at the University of Arizona in 2002 and went on to the Georgia Institute of Technology, Georgia Tech, for his graduate degree. He then joined Caterpillar as a senior associate engineer and has served there for 20 years, currently as an engineering manager. Through his career, he has shown continued dedication to the university, the college, and the current and future Wildcat engineering students. Nitin was an active undergraduate Wildcat. He served as the Tau Beta Pi president, SAE vice president, and was one of the first Summer Engineering Academy counselors. Nitin was also part of the Formula SAE team and Camp Wildcat. As an alum, Nitin has mentored 7 capstone design projects over the years. He is Caterpillar's campus coordinator for the University of Arizona, recruiting Wildcat engineers for 10 years and hosting 2 track cohorts at the company. He contributed to 5 summer engineering academies and various student work readiness workshops. In addition to his enthusiastic support for student engineers, Nitin serves as a member of the College of Engineering's Dean's Advisory Board, and it's been a great addition to that team. We are pleased to honor Nitin Patel with the Bear Down Award. Congratulations, Nitin. As Nitin and Dr. Farzad Mashaik come to the stage, I'll direct your attention to the video monitor. Come on up.
Hi, my name is Nitin Patel, and I'm an alumni from the University of Arizona's Mechanical Engineering Department, and I graduated in 2002. It's an honor to be awarded the 2024 Bear Down Award. I have the privilege of serving as the campus coordinator between Caterpillar and the University of Arizona. We have our mining division located here in Tucson, and we have an active campus engagement committee that I'm the chair of. It's been wonderful to be involved in career fairs at the U of A, where we offer internships, we host resume workshops, and we also sponsor many senior design projects. I'm also honored to serve on Dean Hahn's advisory committee. I've had a lot of interactions with students over the years, and they're always energizing. The students at the U of A College of Engineering have a passion for engineering. They have an innate curiosity for how the world works. They also have a willingness to learn and a demonstration of leadership. These are all wonderful qualities for future engineers. The world needs more engineers to solve the challenging problems ahead of us. Each year, I see the caliber of students raising from the University of Arizona. They have access to incorporate their engineering principles into their classes and projects like never before. 3D printing, coding, AI, the Engineering Design Center. I wish I had those when I was going to school at the U of A. The key takeaway I have when I work with the students at the U of A College of Engineering is that the future of engineering is bright. Bear down.
Congratulations, Nitin. I'm glad your wife, a UA alum and mother, could be here to celebrate. Aw. Our next recognition is the Distinguished Citizen Award. Established in 1962, this award was founded to acknowledge and recognize an individual who has demonstrated extraordinary service to the public through nonprofit organizations or outstanding volunteer service. I'm thrilled to present this award to Stanley Stahoviak. Following 6 years of service in the U.S. Air Force, Stan graduated from the University of Arizona in 1984 with a BS in electrical engineering. While pursuing his degree, he worked as a technician for Burr Brown, launching him into a 21-year career with the company. He then moved into a senior management role for Texas Instruments after the acquisition, and most recently with Cirrus Logic. Throughout his career and to this day, Stan has committed himself to volunteering and public service. For decades, he fundraised for the Cystic Fibrosis Foundation, raising over $75,000, and volunteered for both his church and the Muscular Dystrophy Association. Currently, Stan dedicates time to the Boy Scouts of America Catalina Council, having previously served in many roles. For the last decade, he has coached young students as a reading and mathematics mentor. Stan also commits significant time to the Volunteers in Tax Assistance IRS tax program. In addition to his extensive community service and service contributions, Stan and his spouse Jody give generously to the College of Engineering and are strong supporters of the University of Arizona. I'm very pleased to honor Stanley Stahoviak for the Distinguished Citizen Award. Congratulations, Stan. While he comes up with his department head, Michael Wu, please watch this video. Congratulations.
Good morning, fellow Wildcat engineers. When I was first nominated for this award, my emotions were split between highly honored and embarrassed. I don't think anyone who volunteers their time or is philanthropic does so for recognition. I do sincerely thank Dean Hahn and the College of Engineering staff for selecting me for the 2024 Distinguished Citizen Award. My volunteering began when I saw an advertisement for a charity stair climb for the Cystic Fibrosis Foundation. The pledges were per flight of stairs. It looked like fun. It's amazing what seems like fun in your 30s. My coworkers at Burr Brown were very supportive. If I wanted to torture myself climbing the stairs of a Phoenix skyscraper, the stairs at Arizona Stadium, or the upper deck of Chase Field, they were gladly willing to pledge money to see me suffer. I soon learned that helping others, especially children, was very self-rewarding. And so I sought out other charities where I could volunteer. We are a Wildcat family, so my wife Jody and I are proud to support the University of Arizona and the College of Engineering in particular as it strives to become the premier engineering school in the country. So thank you again to the College of Engineering. Bear down, go Cats.
Wonderfully deserved, Stan. Thank you. Our next recognition is the Professional Achievement Award, celebrating an alum for their outstanding professional accomplishments. I'm excited to present this award to Travis McCarthy. Travis is proud to be a University of Arizona alumnus, having graduated in 1998 with a bachelor's degree in civil engineering. Travis joined Sunt Construction shortly thereafter and has built an impressive career over his 25 years with that company. Sunt has built 60-plus buildings on this campus. He currently serves as Senior Vice President and Southwest Regional Manager, where he oversees all aspects of Sunt's transportation and heavy civil operations throughout Arizona, California, New Mexico, and West Texas. This is a significant charge as Sunt's overall revenue recently topped $2 billion, and the portfolio of transportation projects ranges from bridges to roadways to rail and aviation. A very dedicated Wildcat, Travis makes a difference throughout Arizona and beyond, including serving on the College of Engineering's Dean's Advisory Board and the Civil and Architectural Engineering and Mechanics Department Alumni Industry Council. Travis and his family also established an endowed scholarship for students studying construction engineering management. Beyond campus, he serves as the chairman of the AGC ADOT Joint Cooperative Committee within the Arizona Association of General Contractors. In his free time, he enjoys traveling with his family, playing golf with his son, and watching his daughter perform in the musical theater. We're very pleased to honor Travis McCarthy with the Professional Achievement Award. Congratulations, Travis. Him and his department head, Dominic Bricelli, will join me as you watch a video.
Happy homecoming to everybody. Good morning. When I first started at the University of Arizona, I was really only hopeful for one thing, and that was to actually graduate with a degree in civil engineering. So I never would have thought, fast forward a little more than 30 years, that I would be in a position like this, getting this award. I'm truly honored, very humble. I'd like to thank those that were involved with the nomination and the college. It's very meaningful to me, and thank you. I'd like to thank my parents, Claudia and Ron, not just for the support that they've given me throughout my life, but for providing me with the opportunity to attend the university here. I'd like to thank my wife, Shannon, who's my biggest supporter, my best friend, the love of my life. I'd like to thank my two kids, Tanner and Peyton, who all three I've been able to successfully convert to U of A fans. So we enjoy coming to campus, going to sporting events, cheering them on, and really just the love of my life and the reason why I work so hard each day. So again, thank you. Thank you for coming. Thanks to the college. Have a great weekend and bear down.
Congratulations, Travis, for a very well-deserved honor. And our final award of the program is the Alumni of the Year Award. This prestigious honor recognizes alumni who have made exceptional contributions to society and achieved remarkable professional accomplishments. These individuals exemplified the excellence that the University of Arizona represents. I am thrilled to introduce our 2024 College of Engineering Alumnus of the Year, Jerry Hunter. Jerry earned a BS in 1988 from the University of Arizona and a master's degree in 1990, both in systems engineering. Early in his career, he worked as an engineering intern at NASA's Ames Research Center, designing robotic automation of life science experiments for the International Space Station. He then went on to a career spanning 3 decades with some of the most innovative tech companies at pivotal times in the dot-com revolution. Jerry served in leadership positions at Sun Microsystems, Amazon, and recently retired as Chief Operating Officer of Snap Inc., the company behind one of this generation's most iconic apps, Snapchat. If you don't know, ask your kids or grandkids. They do. While building an impressive career in technology, Jerry has not forgotten his roots at the University of Arizona. He has a strong commitment to helping students that need an extra boost to succeed. He worked with Snap to establish the Snapcats internship program. Additionally, he has generously contributed to the College of Engineering Transfer Student Scholarship Fund to help students from the community college system earn their engineering degrees at the U of A. Jerry will also be honored with his fellow Alumni of the Year awardees from across the entire campus at a special event in February. We are proud to welcome you into this distinguished group of alumni. Congratulations, Jerry. Come on up. Jerry and Dr. Valerdi, Department Head of Systems, will come join me on the stage. Please watch the short video while we give him his
Thank you, Dean Hahn and the Arizona School of Engineering for this honor. I've been fortunate to have a fulfilling career, and I can confidently say it wouldn't have been possible without the University of Arizona. As one of the first in my family to attend college and a beneficiary of financial grants for Southern Arizona kids, I'm deeply grateful for those programs. They help me, and I support them for today's students. My college journey took me time, 8 years to complete my degrees due to having to take breaks to save money when financial aid fell through. It wasn't easy, but several people taught me that grit gets you through those tough times. Those people include people like Steve Tanis, who helped me realize that I could complete my degree when I wasn't sure if I could. My mom and my dad, who convinced me not to take a job at the post office with my dad and had faith that I could finish my degree. An English professor who encouraged me to stick with engineering even after a dinner with Ray Bradbury made me want to be a sci-fi writer. And Don Schultz, who opened the door to my dream internship at NASA, which launched my career. And of course, to my wife, Maureen, of 31 years, I wouldn't be standing here today without her love and support. These people transformed my life, and it's why I support scholarships here and try and mentor young engineers and engineers-to-be. We all face moments of self-doubt. I was lucky to have people who told me I could do it when I needed to hear it. And if you know someone who's struggling, I hope you can be a mentor to them and help them out. It made all the difference for me, and I hope I can continue to pay it forward. Thank you very much for this honor.
Congratulations, Jerry. And we have a special bonus because Jerry is not only our Alumnus of the Year, he is also our guest speaker this morning. Jerry's talk entitled, Understanding Large Language Models, Functionality, Privacy, Infrastructure, and the Future, will provide a glimpse into a fundamental topic that affects us all. Please welcome Jerry Hunter.
Get this thing situated. All right. So today I want to spend a little time talking about a big technology wave that's coming. And I think it's bigger than what we experienced in the 90s with .com. And you think about that 30-year period, and the changes that happened and that we've all experienced. So we went from rotary telephones to mini computers in your pocket that can also be a phone. We went from calling people, having a taxi show up and a person driving it, to pulling out an app and having a fully autonomous car pick you up and take you wherever you want to go. If you wanted to go shopping, you got in your car and you showed up at a store. Now you go to a website and it shows up at your house in the same day. So the changes that we experienced in those days is nothing compared to what I think we're about to experience. What we're about to experience is akin to horse-drawn buggies and flying taxis in a period of less than 10 years. And of course, what I'm talking about is large language models. By now, most of you have experienced ChatGPT. Curious, how many of you have played with ChatGPT? It seems like a lot of folks. So ChatGPT is really changing the way that people interact with each other. For instance, real-time customer support. There are companies that use ChatGPT, large language models, to do customer support, and that support is 25% more effective and more accurate than with people. We've all seen how people use ChatGPT for writing assistance. It can help you write a paper. It can help you get information that you might not have known about. ChatGPT is enabling people to vastly improve productivity in companies just by using these writing exercises. If you're a coder, code generation, and I didn't think this was possible a few years ago, code generation is now made much, much faster using something like Microsoft's Copilot that not only helps you understand or helps you build this code, but it helps you understand complex coding architectures and systems that you may not even know about. And one of my personal favorites, and I'll talk about this a little later, is virtual health assistants. ChatGPT gives access to information that you may not otherwise have without going to a doctor. Now, it doesn't replace a doctor, and my personal take is it probably never will, but it will vastly improve people's ability to get information about the medical field, especially the latest up-to-date information. So, I want to talk about some of the concerns that exist with ChatGPT and the large language models, but first, to do that, you have to get a basic understanding of how it works. And so I'm going to skip a lot of stuff in this talk and just focus on the things that will help understand the concerns. So the first thing is, the way I think about large language models is it's kind of like teaching a child how to understand a language by giving them a bunch of books and just having them read them over and over and over again. So the way that these large language models work is they tokenize the data. And so by taking language, for instance, ChatGPT read every single piece of information it could get pulled into its system. And all of that has to be thought of or processed in a way, and call this tokenization. In tokenization, you basically take the language and you break up the words, and sometimes even pieces of the words. If you're doing, you may have seen generating images. In that case, what you're doing is you're actually taking pixels or little bunches of pixels and turning those into tokens. So that information is run through a bunch of different model types. And to simplify this, there's an enormous amount of technical detail that goes in this. In fact, I think this is where the magic happens. But I'll just simplify it by saying that this giant volume of information gets run through this model. And think of each of these nodes as having a coefficient, a variable that gets a weight that gets measured or built. After all of that information is brought through the system, this weight really represents the intelligence of the system. So then you have to worry about the task that you're trying to solve for. So the information gets pulled from this big specific knowledge base, and you get this base LLM. Now let's think about this as a virtual assistant helping somebody to pass the SAT. So the first thing you do is you take all the information that you think is necessary for passing the SAT and you'd run it through the system. Now that's going to give your base LLM. The base LLM may or may not work. So the next step is to actually take the questions that you might get on an SAT and give it to the LLM and ask it to answer it. Now you'll hire people who actually spend time trying to evaluate whether or not the questions were accurate, and that gets fed back into the system. And eventually, you have an LLM that will always answer the questions correctly. So you can imagine that some of the data sets that you might want to do, so SAT is a refined data set, but some of these data sets are gigantic. Some of these systems have billions of parameters. We talked about those coefficients. They have billions of parameters, and tens of thousands of computers are necessary to actually process the data. Now that's its own gigantic technical problem that has nothing to do with actual LLMs. It just has to do with processing data, figuring out how to lazy load or shard the data, or actually find bottlenecks in your data flow and figure out how to move this through the system. And the reason that's so important is this is a very expensive proposition. And I'm going to talk about that in a second. But if you're not spending time figuring out how to actually simplify this and make the actual process of data being ingested easier, it will become unaffordable for even the richest corporations. So one example, if you've seen like Microsoft invested in OpenAI, and one of the investment properties, it was a $10 billion investment, and it said that Microsoft promised $1 billion of GPU access just for OpenAI, and they still can't meet it. Microsoft is trying to catch up for OpenAI even today. So I want to go back to this process and talk about an example of a way that this data might get processed into the system with a little more complex. Let's think about X-rays for a second. So if you are not a trained professional on X-rays, it's a lot of blobs of light and darkness that's hard to pursue. Well, one of the ways that you'll actually make a virtual X-ray assistant is by having a group of people process or evaluate the answers that come out as you feed new technology or new X-rays in. So think about a group of dentists. The first thing you start with is you put thousands of anonymized, maybe millions of anonymized X-rays of teeth into the system, and then start asking questions. And when those questions come back, either they're right answers or they're wrong answers, and your X-ray technicians look at it and evaluate it, and they tag it, and they say this is a good analysis or a good answer, this is a bad answer. And over time, that system will get better at analyzing dental X-rays than its human counterparts. In fact, I saw an article last week where neuroscientists or neurosurgeons were less effective at detecting brain tumors in scans than the AI that a company had just recently built. And this is early days. So now you have the basics. I want to talk about the concerns. First thing you need to understand is, can your AI produce harm? Is it capable of producing offensive, discriminatory, or asking or giving information that leads to bad actions on the part of the person asking the question? And once you've understood what these possible negatives are, you have to build mechanisms that enable the system to automatically remove it. So one of the ways that this could work is you could build technology that just automatically looks for offending responses and figures out how to retrain or retune the model or cut it out entirely. You can also put human-in-the-loop groups that take things that are suspect, or maybe somebody has flagged it and said, I don't like this answer, and it goes to the team, and they apply judgment. And as that human-in-the-loop process we talked about earlier, it goes back into the system and makes it better over time. This agent information allows teams to create explicit rules or even retrained rules that allow for these LLMs to just get better and better over time. So one of the themes to understand with LLMs is that however they start, they get better as they get more information that's accurate to what they're trying to accomplish. There's also ethical considerations. So let me give you an example of a case where you have a giant amount of data, and this giant amount of data, all it does is thinks that ASU football is the best football that you could possibly watch. And it turns out that if you allow that data to be there, or maybe you've got your group of people that you've hired, and those folks are all ASU students who are hardcore football fans, you shouldn't be surprised when the data that's getting fed into that system doesn't like U of A football. But there are ways to solve this. This is a completely solvable problem. One of the ways is by making sure that the data is diversified data set and that the people are diversified groups of folks. And when you actually take those steps to change the data path, because the data is the most important part here, you can remove the bias and get an unbiased answer, which of course would have a thumbs up on Arizona. The next thing I want to talk about is privacy. So LLMs are trained on really large data sets, and sometimes it collects information that it shouldn't have. It inadvertently collects something that maybe was a copyrighted material, or it maybe was something that somebody didn't want in the system. It's super important that when you're building these systems, if it's taking users' information, that it actually gets consent from users or it anonymizes that data. And there's a lot of really powerful anonymization techniques that make sure that no personal information gets in. And the way I like to think about that is if somebody ever took that data, they could never trace it back to you personally. The other probably simplest and often unused rule is don't take data that you don't need for whatever this answer set you're trying to create. If you're doing a virtual machine that's trying to help mechanics build cars, you don't need to take information from hospitals. Now, there's some lawsuits that I think are also important to take into account, and this is just a smattering of a few. These lawsuits are about to set the tone for what companies can do when collecting data. Now, I've got a bunch on here because I thought these were interesting, but the couple that I'm going to speak about, Getty Images has sued Stability AI, which is the company that makes Stable Diffusion. And what they've said is that the AI has trained on all of Getty Images' library of content, which I think we all know is a for-pay set of images. And they're trying to make that be taken out of the data set. The other one that's also interesting, and this Authors Guild versus OpenAI, where John Grisham and George R.R. Martin have, represented by the Authors Guild, are suing because if you ask OpenAI to give a summary of one of their books, it does a very good job. And so the lawyers have said, you must have ingested the entire book to be able to do the summary. Now, these things are lawsuits that will drastically change the way that companies can work. And I think it's important to understand that even when these lawsuits land, so this is a case where a bunch of developers sued Microsoft because they believed that all of their code sitting in GitHub was being ingested to make Copilot do the job we talked about earlier. Well, it turns out that a judge just in July of this year threw out a bunch of the lawsuit's main points because they were not able to prove that the data had been ingested and was mimicking it back during Copilot. It's an interesting use case because the data was ingested, but when it comes back and you ask questions like, help me write code that does blah, 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 it doesn't come back looking exactly like what the coders actually did, and the judge believed that that was an okay use of that data. So that's a big win for the AI industry, but it's really early days. Now, I want to switch gears and talk about AI's impact on the physical world. So an example of this, so ChatGPT-3, which was one of the first implementations of GPT, had 175 billion parameters, took upwards of 10 gigawatts of power to train, used thousands of servers that probably took weeks or months, we don't know because they don't tell us. And that's just one of the AIs that are out there right now. Now, the way to think about how AI gets supported infrastructurally is through data centers. Data centers are the ones that house the servers and consume the power. I used to build data centers at Amazon, and we would build these data centers that looked about like this. They'd have somewhere between 4 and 20 rooms. Each room would have 10,000 or more servers, and we could put tens of thousands of customers in those rooms. But with these LLMs, you may have 1 or 2 customers using the entire room. And just to give a sense of the vast scale that these systems require, I recently heard that by 2030, we'll need 1,000 times more power to support data centers than we have available today. Now, at first glance, that may not sound like a lot in 5 years, but it's an enormous amount. If you talk to any data center provider right now, those data centers' biggest challenge is getting any power at all, much less 1,000 times what they need. So that's leading to this enormous amount of innovation with power. I've seen power proposals that were geothermal in nature. I've seen nuclear power proposals where they are mini nuclear power plants designed specifically just to give power to data centers that are sitting around them. I even had one VC, and this is a wild one. In Wales, there's an estuary, the Severn Estuary, where the high tide and low tide is 40 feet. And it all goes through a channel, and he proposed putting a turbine at the bottom of the channel, collecting all of that water flow and turning it into power. I mean, these are just a few of the crazy things that this sort of technology is driving. I think it's also important to note, just in the last 12 months, and these are the ones we know about, 1,800 startups for AI. Now think about that. Just think about that for a second. I just gave you an example of one. Now, granted, it was a very large one. ChatGPT was probably one of the bigger ones. But there are 1,800 startups, all with ideas around how they can use LLMs to advance some specific goal. $12 billion in the first quarter of this year alone. I want to give you a couple examples, what I think of. You know, we've talked a lot about high level. I like this use in medicine. I think that there's some very interesting, very, very interesting use cases, of which these are just a couple. And the reason it's interesting is because there's vast amounts of data that's constantly changing, and every one of us has a very unique sort of fingerprint about what parts of that data is interesting to us, and that's what LLMs are really good at figuring out. So a couple of these, I really like this risk stratification, like understanding based on a person's personal history and all the information that's available in research, what sort of risks does this person have? It can understand the progression of diseases in ways that we don't normally think about. Cancer, heart disease, diabetes, and then taking your personal information and giving personalized treatment plans. You get the access of every researcher and every doctor on planet Earth who's excellent at your fingertips. So the promise, this is just one. There's so many. There's all sorts of areas that I had in this deck and realized I was just going to monotonize you to death with all these examples, but there are some fantastic things going on. You talked about healthcare, revolutionizing education, workplace automation and productivity. Like we talked a little bit about that, but some of the, there was an example startup that I talked to where the person takes a virtual assistant that sits in a room with you, collects notes when you have a meeting, knows who's talking, takes actions, follows up with people on those actions, closes it out, and tells everybody else that was in the meeting the action got done. I mean, that used to be what a person did. By the way, that's not released yet, but like, I think it's pretty amazing. Human-computer interaction is another interesting one. It's called agentic behavior, where the LLM actually can go and do something, not just tell you about it. For instance, if you say, well, I'd like to go to dinner tonight. It's like, well, I happen to know that you like Mexican food, and so I've set up a reservation at the nearest, this is your favorite place, and it's the reservation set up. Oh, and I've invited 2 of your friends, and the Uber's on its way. And by the way, it's going to pick you up an hour and a half later. Like that sort of stuff, it will be commonplace. Improving scientific breakthrough. The same thing, it's like having real-time information flow of all the scientific breakthroughs that are happening and giving it to a researcher so they can pursue whatever their pursuit is. And there's so many more. So I think the conclusion, we're in this highly innovative state right now. But I think it's really way too early. You saw 1,800. It's way too early for us to know who the winners and losers are going to be. When I started at Amazon, this was a quote that got thrown around as a reason to not buy Amazon stock. They'll lose a little on every transaction, but make it up in volume. This analyst, whose name I forget, I tried to find it. He was so snarky, and it was so frustrating to those of us inside. They were focusing on eBay, they were onsale.com, Webvan. Those were the darlings of the 90s. And it turns out Amazon was the winner. And they were a winner by a long way. eBay did pretty well too, but Webvan's gone, onsale's gone, pets.com is gone. There's all these things that looked very promising at the time, and they don't exist anymore. So we don't know who the winners and losers are going to be, but what we do know is that there's an enormous amount of technological change coming, and each one of these turns on the crank are going to bring huge opportunities. I think we can't put this genie back in the bottle. But I don't think we need to, and I don't think we want to. The benefits for humanity are too large. We do need to make sure that the negatives are understood and managed really effectively through technology or regulation or laws. These things can all be made to work to the benefit of people and not work against us. So I hope I taught you a little bit. I hope this was interesting. I just say I'm optimistic about this future. Thank you for your time.
So thank you, Jerry, for an insightful, informative, and very optimistic view of the future of AI. I think it's exciting, and certainly for engineers, the opportunities to make contributions, to tackle some of the energy needs, I think it's fascinating. So thank you. It was a wonderful talk. We would like to recognize a few special guests with us this morning. Former deans of the College of Engineering and staff, faculty, emeritus faculty, past and present. Please stand so we can thank you. You're out there. I'm looking at some of you. I'd like to recognize our Engineering Student Club leadership. We have 45 student clubs in the College of Engineering. Many of you help support those clubs. They foster the professional development, the experiential learning of our students. To all of our student club leaders, thank you for your many contributions to your fellow students. I would like to thank our volunteers and our staff members who come out every year early in the morning to help make this a success. Without you, this wouldn't be possible. Thank you to all of you in this college that make this happen. I'm very appreciative. And finally, I want to say a big thank you for our students in attendance. Some of you are missing classes to come out to learn a little bit more about this college and to help make this a success, so thank you. I'd like to take a moment to recognize some companies in attendance today that generously host tables, a tradition that's been here for a long time for their employees that are alumni of this university, allowing them to join us. I want to thank you for your support, specifically McCarthy Building Companies, Rainbird Corporation, Raytheon and RTX Business, Sargent Aerospace and Defense, Salt River Project, Sunt Construction, and Tucson Electric Power. Thank you. Homecoming is indeed a time to celebrate what unites us, being a Wildcat, and this morning in particular, being a Wildcat engineer. The College of Engineering's achievements would not be possible without you, our alumni, who chose to attend the University of Arizona and pursue engineering as your field of study. No matter where your journey has led you, we're truly grateful that you come back. First, I want to recognize those of you who were student leaders during your time at the University of Arizona. Whether you were part of a club, you served as an engineering ambassador, played a leadership role on other campus groups. If you were a leader during your time at the university, please stand up so we can thank you for your contributions. I know there are many out there. Thank you very much. Let's look at class years. If you graduated between 2013 and 2024, our newest graduates, please stand. The first few years after graduation can be the most challenging, and we truly appreciate your continued commitment to this college. We hope you're excited to be back, and we thank you for coming. Stand up if you're that 10-year graduate. I know there's a lot of you here today. Thank you for coming. If you graduated between 1975 and 2012, we're thrilled to welcome you back as well. This tradition would not be possible without your unwavering dedication and spirit. For that group, between 75 and 2012, please stand up. That's a lot. Thank you. We have a special group to recognize next, the class of 1974. In 1974, the median income was $11,100. Resident tuition was $560, and an engineer named Art Fry invented the Post-it. We have several of you here in person and virtually, celebrating this fantastic milestone with us today. If you graduated in 1974, please stand and be recognized. Wow. Congratulations. When we're done at the end of this day, we'll have that group meet us in the back for a group photograph. So if you graduated, we're going back a little now, if you graduated between 1960 and 1970, please stand. We are glad that you're here today. Wow, that's a good turnout. And finally, if you graduated in the 1950s or earlier, you can stand or wave, but we are really honored that you're with us today. Woo! Congratulations to our most seasoned Wildcat engineers. So now let's turn to our most honored group of Wildcat engineers, our Hall of Fame members, who helped shape the evolution of this college and define its character. These alumni have shown exceptional achievement and service over many decades. In April, as is our tradition, we inducted the most recent 2024 Hall of Fame members into this class, but I'd like to acknowledge them today. William Assenmacher, Ed Barrios, Alan Beckman, Don Felsinger, Mary Boyce Morton, Tom O'Neill, and Scott Roberts. If you're here today, please stand up so we can congratulate our newest class of Hall of Fame members. A few of our past esteemed Hall of Fame members inducted previously are also with us today. If you're in the Hall of Fame, you're recognized with a red ribbon on your lapel. Please, would all Hall of Fame members that are with us today stand, wave, so we can recognize your great success as a Wildcat engineer. Wow. It's now my distinct pleasure to introduce our second speaker of the day, our student speaker. Gracie Spatz is a junior studying chemical engineering with a minor in biochemistry. As a third-year member of the Engineering Student Council, she serves as Director of Social and Outreach before being elected as president for this school year. In addition to being president of ESC, she is on the executive board for the American Institute of Chemical Engineers and is a member of the Society of Women Engineers and the Lynx Junior Honorary. This past summer, Gracie had the opportunity to study abroad in Stuttgart, Germany, where she did research in a virtual augmented reality lab under Dr. Uwe Vossner. Please welcome Gracie Spatz to the podium.
A little bit shorter than him, but that's okay. Thank you, Dean Hahn. Growing up, I had a relentless calling to science. I actually blame my high school AP chemistry teacher. His infectious spirit for the course inspired my love for chemistry. I was also always great at math, even though my vector professor might disagree. I was always in higher level math courses and found joy when solving an algebra problem. When deciding on a major for college, I had no idea where to start. I actually applied to the U of A undecided. Making a huge decision about choosing a major that could potentially impact the rest of my life was very daunting. I did not want to choose a major that would contain me to one path or job. Thinking back to my high school path and how science was always a big part of my life, I wanted to major in chemistry. My father, however, being the voice of reason, as dads are, sat me down and we had one of our late night living room couch talks. He said engineering perhaps would be the better major. There would be more opportunities after college. It would keep me challenged and bring me great fulfillment. After about 2 hours and 3 mental breakdowns later, I agreed. Chemical engineering is what I would study. Not really knowing what an engineer does, I was ready to pursue this degree. I knew it wasn't going to be easy, but seeing strangers' faces light up when I said, "I'm studying chemical engineering," makes those late library nights worth it. I remember as a freshman learning about what a chemical engineer could do, and I became ecstatic. Discovering that there were so many career paths I could choose, I was overjoyed to find that I chose a major with many opportunities. Over the last 2 years, I began forming a passion for engineering. I was grateful that little 17-year-old Gracie chose a path that 20-year-old Gracie grew into loving. I am sure many of you, like me, have had countless sleepless nights, failed test scores, and worst of all, doubts that you could ever be an engineer. Standing in front of you and seeing how far you've come, how successful you are, and that you overcame the same struggles ensures me that it is all worth it. Like many students at the University of Arizona, I am from out of state. My home is 1,800 miles away in Cincinnati, Ohio. You might be thinking, wow, she really wanted to get away from home. You might be right, but I didn't realize that until after I came here. My top 2 schools were the U of A and the University of Cincinnati. So I could either be 30 minutes from home or a 3-day drive away. Pretty different options, right? The University of Cincinnati is an excellent engineering school, and I knew lots of people from home there, but I was craving something else. I was craving adventure and uniqueness. No one from my high school enrolled here, and I only knew one student when coming here. What is ironic is that I hated being uncomfortable, and here I was, far away from home, with no friends and a constant fear of the future. Once the year got underway, I became more and more comfortable here, joining new clubs and making new friends. Arizona is a huge school, but it is truly amazing how the right people can make this big campus feel like home. I actually met my best friends on the first day of Calculus 1 class, and now calculus has a really special place in my heart. Throughout my freshman year, I got to experience the joys and adventures Arizona had to offer, and each day I became more okay with the uncomfortable. I am so grateful for Arizona for teaching me that taking a huge risk can give you a huge reward. To this day, I will still say coming to the University of Arizona was the best decision I ever made. Before college, the best word to describe me was involved. Whether I was playing 4 sports in 1 season, being on executive board for 3 clubs in 1 year, or working a part-time job, free time was never in my vocabulary. Bringing this enthusiasm into college, I wanted to be as involved as possible. The University of Arizona allowed me to do that. With over 40 engineering clubs and 650 on-campus clubs, Arizona allows you to pursue any passion. The very first club I applied to was Engineering Student Council. I never knew that it would lead me to speak in front of you today, but I could tell how special of a club it was. Coincidentally, like the last 2 ESC presidents before me, I too was the director of social and outreach, and then the next year was elected president. In the role of social and outreach, I had the opportunity to organize Engineers Week and plan the 2024 Engineers Ball. Being in this position and being able to plan events that unites our engineering community showed me how lucky I was to be serving all of these incredible students. This made me want to continue to serve them as president. In addition to the Engineering Student Council, I'm on the executive board for the American Institute of Chemical Engineers, a member of the Society of Women Engineers, Links Junior Honorary, and the Home Brewers of Arizona. Like I said, what's free time? I am so grateful to be a part of so many amazing communities that would not be where they are today without our alumni. You created spaces where students could be themselves and showed us that anything is possible. No matter how long ago you attended the U of A, the communities that you were in helped shape you as a person, and you have helped started or strengthened traditions in those communities. I'm sure many of you have gone on to form brand new communities, but do not forget, you are always welcome back to your Wildcat family. One of the best things about being an engineering student here is the community. No matter if it is your classmates, people in your clubs, or faculty, everyone wants to see you succeed. I learned the importance of working with a team and that it is okay to ask for help. When I found my community in my major, my experience as an engineer became even better. Considering I spend more time at the Science Engineering Library than I do in my own home, this close group was super important. This is probably my favorite thing about being an engineer, The hard coursework creates strong bonds. I found my closest chemical engineering friends sophomore year, and to think that next year we could be taking senior pictures at Old Main really brings it full circle. I encourage you to think back to those classmates who struggled alongside you, supported you, and ultimately stood by you as you earned your degrees. I am truly grateful for all the experiences and memories the University of Arizona has brought me. I have made some of my best friends, fondest memories, and craziest stories here. I would like to thank all of my educators for helping me succeed, my advisors that guided me to the path that brought me here today, and all of our U of A engineering alumni. No matter how each of you found your path, I am grateful that you were led here and that the University of Arizona is a part of your story. Thank you all so much for listening to my story. It is truly an honor to be the person welcoming you home. I am so happy to share my time with you at our 61st Annual Engineers Breakfast in celebration of everyone's time here. So this weekend, I encourage you to get together with peers, tell old college stories, and of course, bear down.
Thank you, Gracie, for a wonderful talk. I really could not agree more with you on the importance of community in this college and on this campus. Thank you for reiterating that. So much of what we do at the College of Engineering is made possible through philanthropy. It helps drive us to push boundaries, make advancements, and most importantly, prepare our students, like Gracie, for the next chapter in their lives. I would like to take this opportunity to highlight one person that has really helped along with an important foundation, Sarah Smallhouse and the Thomas R. Brown Family Foundation, for their outstanding support and dedication to student success in our college. Earlier this year, Sarah shared some empowering words about what philanthropy means to her, and I would like to share that with you now. Please direct your attention to the screen.
We invest at the University of Arizona in several ways. The most important way is by investing in students. And we are a public institution, but the costs of higher education have really gotten to the point where many students find it difficult to afford higher education. And yet, in our world, our problems demand higher education. Not only higher education, but engineering education. My dad always used to say, engineers are mankind's problem solvers. And we need a lot of them. And it's a joyful thing to be able to help a student early in their life reach their goals and realize some of their aspirations, contribute to their communities. And most students need some help. And we have thoroughly appreciated the scholarship recipients that we have gotten to know, and it's been a very satisfying experience. I think Fuel Wonder is a fabulous sentiment for a capital campaign because it's all about let's fuel our talents and our creativity and train our minds and work diligently to better solutions for the future.
Definitely want to thank Sarah for her wonderful words. She really captured the essence of that. And I want to thank all of you in this room for investing in the future of this college and in the future of our students. We're really grateful for your support. Before we conclude the program, I want to highlight our numerous college events this weekend. It is a homecoming weekend. It starts this morning. Starting right after here, we have many things going on. Each of our 8 departments has exciting activities lined up, like the Centennial and the Lacey Lectures from Civil and Mining, respectively. Don't miss the Alumni Happy Hour at the rooftop bar of Gentle Ben's for a great view of Bear Down Friday. We also hope to see you at the tailgate tomorrow before the big game. Check the back of your program for details on all of these events. Also, awardees and 50th reunion folks, please meet us at the back after this event for some group photos. I want to say thank you for being here this morning. We're truly proud of the vital work you do as engineers, whether in industry, government, defense, or academia, as you help shape the future of our fields. It's through our collaboration and resilience that we are making a meaningful impact on the state of Arizona and the nation by solving society's most pressing problems. This weekend, I invite you to celebrate homecoming in whatever way resonates with you, whether it's reconnecting with classmates and faculty, networking, visiting your favorite campus spots. Homecoming is all about honoring you, our incredible alumni. Be sure to take advantage of everything we have to offer. Finally, on behalf of the entire college, I want to extend my heartfelt gratitude for your unwavering support of the College of Engineering. It's an exciting time. We have new leadership on this campus. I think the future is very bright. Your connection with us doesn't end this weekend. We invite you to stay engaged. Together we can empower the next generation of engineers. So I want to say thank you, bear down, and go Cats.